Hey guys, how you doing? We're gonna do a fiber paste. So here's what I'm gonna do. Use any size measuring cup you have. I'm gonna use a 1/4 cup. You can use a 1/3 cup, 1/2 cup, whole cup, whatever you want to do. I'm just gonna do a 1/4. I got some. Let me see if I can fix my camera a bit here because things are white. It's gonna be like kind of weird. Let's see if that helps. I got a handful of toilet paper. You can use paper towel. Or, if you have computer paper, can be the same thing because we're going to wet it. So first what we're going to do is we're going to take our baby powder, anyone you have. We'll do our dry ingredients first, and then we'll do our wet. So it's 1 part, well, we're not going to do the baby powder. Let me think, wait. Oh, that's because I was going to do my fault. I'm going to do molding paste too, and I'm sitting here going, da-da-da-da-da. Okay, we're doing the fiber paste first. I'm such a dork. All right, so first we're going to take some water, a little bit of water, and we're going to put it in our measuring cup. I should have grabbed the one. I'm not thinking. And I'm just going to put a little bit of water in the bottom, and then I'm going to take some toilet paper. Now, because this is a 1/4 cup, I want a cup of it. So I'm going to have to do 4 of these. So I'm just going to take my toilet paper and rip it up. Why is like my thing off a little bit? Yeah. I'm going to rip it up into little pieces. Doesn't matter. And I'm going to stick it in here. And keep ripping it up and sticking it in there. And pushing it so it absorbs the water. My brain is always backwards because I thought, well, while I'm doing this, I might as well do the molding paste too, which I will. Okay. So you see how it's soaking up? So I'm just going to keep ripping into just little shreds, nothing major, and just keep pushing it in there. Tell you what I could do. I'm only going to do a 1/4 cup of the toilet paper. I'll just cut it down. But let's say, like I said, 1 part. So let's say if you did do a cup of this, then you would have a measuring cup of a cupful, and you would fill it to the brim with, 1 cupful of the toilet paper. And then when you get to the glue, you would decide, like, if we're doing a 1/4 of this, I'll probably do a 1/2 cup of glue and a 1/2 of paint, and you'll see what I mean. So right now, let's just start. We're doing this. We're doing the paper, the fiber paste. We are starting with a 1/4 cup of the toilet paper, or pieces of printer paper that you haven't used. This way I can get both done without taking 3 hours. Printer paper that you have used that you don't, that you have around, or paper towel, or Kleenex, or I wouldn't use Kleenex. So once you keep pushing it in and the water absorbs, and this is fun for the kids to do too, because you're just ripping up paper. But once you get it pushed in, like we're doing, and I'll bring this up, you want this to kind of be packed a little bit. Push it around the corner so you can see it's still absorbing some water. You can use tissue paper. You can use colored tissue paper. You can use tissue paper with stars on it, or the one like I have with the glitter. And we're just pushing it in until we get the water absorbed. That was in there. As you can see, I'm going to pour a little bit more water. Doesn't matter. You won't ever have too much water, because you'll see why. But you see how it's getting there? I might have to use a little bit of paper towel. And you just you want to kind of give it a nice push so you're packing it in. And we're packing it in. That might make out enough. Push it down. I can always... Now see, that used all that toilet paper. That's why you can go to the dollar store and get toilet paper. I just pulled toilet paper from the thing. However, I'm going to use some of my... I'm just going to rip a piece of paper towel off. Just one to start. Rip it in pieces. And you'll see why it doesn't... You don't have to have it in such small pieces when you do it. And just keep pushing it around, pushing it down. Because it'll absorb the water. And when you feel like you're pushing it down and you need a little bit more water, just pour it in there, give it a push. We're getting there. So I said this is fun for the kids to do too, because you don't have to really watch them. You say, keep tearing paper towels and toilet paper up till you get it. And I'm pushing, and I'm pushing. This is really fun to play with once you get it done. I think we're about there. I'm just going to finish up this little bit of, just add a little bit more water on top. Tear the rest of this paper towel up. Put it in there and then call it a day. I can see around the edges it needs it. And I think this will be perfect. And push it down so the water comes up to take that. So now we have our paper in there, and that's about a 1/4 cup. You don't have to be so serious. And then just pour a little bit of water and just leave it sit for a few minutes in that. Okay. Now, for the, which I should have picked up another measuring cup. I don't know what I was thinking. For the gesso, I'm going to walk you through it. We'll pretend like this. Let me take my can. Okay. We'll pretend like this can is what we're going to put in it. So it would be, let's say we're using this, and I'm not going to empty it. I'm just going to leave this sit here for a little bit so the water absorbs in there. Okay, so for the modeling paste, you're going to take 1 part paint and 1 part baby powder. Always start with dry because you want to end up with wet, because if you start with wet, then when you put your dry in, it's going to be whatever. So let's say we're going to put in a 1/4 cup of baby powder. So we fill this with baby powder, 1/4 cup, pour it into our mixing bowl. We would put in a 1/4 cup of white paint, put it into here, put it into our mixing bowl. Then we will take a half of whatever we used. So we would fill our 1/4 cup that we used only halfway with white school glue or Mod Podge. Does that make sense? Because you're only using half of the 1/4. And you would pour that half of the 1/4 cup into here. Then you would mix it very, very close, very good. Maybe I'll make one in here once I'm done with this. You would mix it in here, and then you would have your molding paste. If we wanted a little thicker, you add more baby powder. So let's see how long this takes for this, and then we'll go from there. This is what I'm going to mix my Fiberpaste in. So I have my 1/4 cup of, I don't have to dig it out. I thought I could be magical. I'm not going to be magical. I'm going to have to pull it out. I have that. Look how fun. Mush, mush, mush. Take your hands in there and separate it. And see now, because the paper towel is a little tougher than the toilet paper, just, you know, leave it soak a little bit longer if you get to that point, if it bothers you. If not, just keep ripping. Because the more the water gets to it and the thinner, you'll be better off. It's not no big deal. It's not no big deal. And we're just ripping into pieces. And you can see this is more the baby, the toilet paper rather, and look at how it tears like butter. Like butter. So toilet paper is the best alternative, or like I said, tissue paper. Paper towel, because it is a more absorbent thing, you know, it'll make it a little bit rough. We might need a little bit more water in it, but hey, in a pinch like me sitting here and I only needed that little bit left, use it. Printer paper will work great. It doesn't matter. And then just keep going back in, and big pieces that you see, just keep ripping and ripping. And you can see this is my paper towel one, so I'll just take it off one piece at a time and rip, because you can't rip much. That's why it's better when you're in the beginning to really rip these into smaller pieces, because when it gets to be this time with the paper and the water, dollar store paper towels would be better. These are like the Bounty whatever, but the dollar store ones are cheaper, and you know, they don't hold, you know, the commercials with Bounty, they pick up, my God, a week's worth of crap on the floor. But it's still going to be good. And keep ripping. And keep ripping. And go in again. And it's okay, you have some water in there, it doesn't matter. And if it gets hard to rip, you just want to pull the pieces apart, because remember, we compacted it into our measuring cup. Okay. So we're pretty good there. Some big pieces. You guys, if you have a blender, put it in a blender. I have to get my blender. I just want to get this on so you guys can see. Like I said, the smaller you rip them when they're dry, the better off you'll be when you go to get to this part. Or maybe you could just take scissors and cut. When they're thicker like that, if your hands start hurting like mine, it doesn't matter. Stick your scissors in there and just start cutting. Whatever way works for you. All right, my hands don't like to work. Okay, but you get the drift. So now what we're going to do is we are going to put where is my, oh, my back, my school glue. Okay. I'm just using white school glue. Try to take the lid off. Okay. And since I used a full quarter of that, I'm only going to use half of the quarter of the cup, if that makes sense. And we'll pour that in. My dog's breathing. He's like, who are you talking to now? Let me get one of my sticks to scrape it. Yep, as everything falls off, because it wouldn't be me if it didn't. This is just, I gotta find them. I have a bunch of craft sticks somewhere, but I don't know where I got this from, but I bought it. And just scrape the best that you can. No big deal. So you see, kind of looks like we put some mayonnaise in there. And now we're going to do our white paint. I'm going to do the same amount of white paint, a half of a quarter cup. Come on now. Why we gotta be an ass? That's what I want to know. Why you gotta be an ass? Oh, I swear. Acrylic paint is a blessing and a curse sometimes. Because it gets jammed. Take your lid off and pour it. I don't have much left in here. I gotta get more. Pour. What is the problem? And we're pouring and we're pouring. Now watch, it'll come out in a big thing, right? All right, I'm buying a new one of you. Okay. That's all that's going in there for that because I'm not going to sit and fuck around with this. Excuse me, screw around with this. I'll turn it upside down if I need more. I will pour my paint in there now. It's about half of the quarter of the cup. And I'm just going to scrape it in. Not going to worry too much about it. Nothing has to be exact. You'll know as we start stirring it up. Depends on your environment. Depends on how much water you used. How much paint, you know. All that fun stuff. All right. I'll just scrape out what you can. And now we have this. We're going to stir and stir. And remember, our paper's still wet. We are going to get down in there. Like I said, my paper, you know, if I had my blender up here, I'd probably put it in my blender. Or I would have went and done a little bit more of my paper smaller. But at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. It's going to be really cool looking. But mine's a little dry, so I'm going to add a little bit more of glue and paint. And I'm just going to eye it. Do a little like doopy doop. Because you can't have too much because it'll, you know, it's just going to, it'll dry. A little bit more white paint, I know. I need... If you want to add a little bit of water, you can to make it go more. Like I said, it'll just make it have a little bit longer to dry, but it really doesn't matter. Now, if you want, I'm going to do this so you guys really see it. You can put gloves on if you want, you know, if it bothers you. Let me zoom in a minute. Try to get you in here. All right. So you see, this is delicious. Look at this. And it's hard because it's white to see on here. But look how delicious this came out for Fiberpaste. And that was doing it my way with the big chunks. Look at that. Look how delicious. It really didn't take long. I just bitched a lot. So now I'll just pick it all up. Put it in my container. I know. Oh, you made that mess for what? I wanted to show you how it comes out. So nobody's like, you know, well, it looks so chunky and gross. No, it doesn't. I'm going to use that in my mixed media painting that we're doing. Now, let's see. Okay, so here, let's do this. I'm going to do our molding paste in this. So I'm going to put the same thing in here size-wise as I did in there. Meaning, I'm going to put in, I'll do my powder last. Here goes for my molding paste. I'm going to put a 1/2 quarter. It's a 1/2 quarter of glue. This is a 1/4 measuring cup. I'm only putting a 1/2 of the glue in. Again, have my scrapey. I might as well do both of these on here for you guys. So okay. Put my lid back on my glue. Gotta buy new glue too. And then another 1/2 quarter of a cup of white paint. You can feel it at the bottom. But I'm not going to stress too much over the paint. You know what I'll do? Goddamn piece of crap. I will add my, I'll add some of my ceramic coat antique white in there too, because it doesn't matter the color for me. Yeah, we'll just get that baby in there. These big, see, that's what happens, it clogs. And then once the clog's gone, you're good. So it had a little accident. Oh God, okay. So then here's our paint, white paint. 1/2 quarter cup. So we have 1/2 quarter cup of glue. I use school glue. You can use Mod Podge. Collage Podge, Mod Podge. I use just cheap white school glue. Okay, I'm going to scrape just a little bit of what's left. And then what I'm going to do is just wipe this out a little bit so the powder doesn't stick all over. I really got to go to the dollar store and get one of these for me to use in my crafting room, because this is from my kitchen. Oh well. We have like 12 sets of them. I think everybody, every holiday buys, you know, or you buy like something for the kitchen and then like you get a free. It's on my white paint smear. No big deal. Okay, now we have 1/2 thing of white school glue, 1/2 thing of your white acrylic paint. I had to add in a little bit of off-white. Now we're going to do a full 1/4 cup of baby powder. And you can buy this at the dollar store very cheaply. And it smells so good. Okay. So we got a 1/4 cup. Goes in there. This might be too short to stir, but I'm going to stir. I think it's too short to stir, but I'm going to stir. Because you don't want the lumps. But this ain't going to do me no never mind because this is too short. So just lay you down there. I'll get the back of my paintbrush. Oh, it smells so good because it's baby powder. I don't know how well you can see that in there. And it seems like it might need, oh no, that's pretty good. All right, I'm going to stir. We're just going to keep stirring and scraping all the extra off. Now, remember, if you want to do a cupful, you would use a cupful of the powder and a 1/2 cup of the paint and the 1/2 cup of the glue for the molding paste. If you want it to be more, you would just double what I do. The 1 part means whatever size you want. So if you want 2 cups of white paint and 2, you know what I mean? So you'll be doing it. 2 cups of white paint, 2 cups of, baby powder, 1/2 thing of school glue or Mod Podge. Now see, this is thick, but I'm going to add a little bit more powder because I want it. You can make it as thick as you want. I don't know, have this opened all the way. That might help. Just going to give it a squeeze. It's looking good. I'm going to do a little bit more powder because I like it thick. And I have regular. Yeah, okay, that's enough of that because this is my husband's powder and I have to go buy my own. Yeah, it's good. And I'm just going to keep stirring for a minute. I know this is fun. You're not seeing it on camera because it's in the thing. But here's what I'm going to do. Stir and stir and stir. Let me scrape this off. Tap it in there. And then I'm going to do a stencil and show you both of these. Can you see in there? Can you see? Look. Look at it. Yay. That'll just get all the powder that kind of hung on the sides down. Okay. So we have our paper pulp and we have our Fiberpaste and our molding paste. So here's what I'm going to do in my mess here. But that's okay, because it's for all you guys. Ugh, I need to wipe this off. I'm really going to have to clean this off when I'm done. Now get off your stick. I'm going to be using you in a minute. Let's just kind of get all the wetness stuff off. We're going to lay that down. We're going to bring it back. We're going to move you over. I'm going to grab 2 stencils. Just give me a momento to remember where I put my stencils. Because I put them somewhere to use them. Isn't that me? Oh yes, Kelly, it is. Surely it is. Now, here we go. For those who do not have stencils, you can, and I'll show you, stamp in. But let me just grab a stencil here. I want to get one that you guys can see. here. I will just use my old go-to big one. Because I want you guys to see it. You know what I mean? Okay, so let's say I want to do this flower. This flower. And I don't know what way I'm going, but I'm just going to stick him. I know I'm going to put something in this area, so I try to stay away from this area. But you don't have to. You can do wherever you want. But I'm going to do some of my... I'm going to take an old... If you have an old credit card, debit card, whatever. Let's do our molding paste first. So remember, you want to store this in a plastic container. I always like to put plastic wrap and then the lid. But let me wipe this off before it gets too bad and dries. Because I won't be wanting to use the paintbrush with it being prickly. Alright, so that goes that. You go in my paintbrush thing so you're out of the way. I know, I'm just trying to organize. I'm sorry. God damn it, it won't even go in there. Anyway, I'm going to grab my... There, you piece of... Okay. We have these in metal, plastic, you know. They come in, they're very cheap. You can use, like I said, a credit card, whatever. I'm just going to dig out and then spread with my credit card, but because it's in this deep can. But I'm going in for some molding paste. I'm going to hold my stencil down. I'm going to start it and put some on. And this is really a test to see how thick this really is. I might even want it thicker. And if you want it thicker, you just add. You can see it lifting up my colors underneath that aren't waterproof, which I don't care. I might want it a little thicker. Let's see. Yeah. And remember, all you do is add a little bit more baby powder, which I think I might add to this. I don't know yet. But this is the molding paste. And it's colored this color because I ran out of white. And you just go in, scrape it off, lift it up. And because I moved it a little bit, you can see how it ran a little bit. I'm not worried. I'll do it here again. I moved it because I wanted it to be... I won't move it again. Just worry about the flower this time. Lift it up. Oh, it's because it's smeared through the back. My ass self. Because I moved it and it's smeared through the back. But you get the point. And I don't care. I'm not concerned about that. Let me wipe off. We got our molding paste. Let me just wipe off this back. Because it's going to smear wherever I put it. Because, you know, I would go to check the back to make sure that's what's smearing. I'm a jackass. Okay. Let's do this little flower right here. And I'll just get some of my stuff. Put it down. And just scrape off. Put it back into my container. Scrape off. Put it back into my container. Make sure the petals are full. Lift up. Perfect. That is perfection. And then I go and I scrape off of here just to save because I'm cheap. And then put it back into my container. That came out perfect. Okay, so give me a second. Let me wipe off my stuff here. Because this stuff dries and then you won't be able to use this for anything. I always like to have my baby wipes open and ready for times like this. Boy, it dries fast too. Or if I get stuck and they don't, I I don't get them wiped off quickly enough. What I do is just fill my sink with hot water and stick them all in there. And if it's drying on there, it'll come right off. Well, that's nice. Okay, that's drying fast. That's wicked cool. Okay, so that is our molding paste. All right, you can go away, white paint. You're not doing me no good. Okay, so molding paste. Now let's go into Fiberpaste. Okay, let me pick another stencil. Just to show you to play. We'll do some circles here. Oops. I'm going to stick this in my Fiberpaste. Going to pull my Fiberpaste out. Going to face the camera to where I'm at. Going to push it down. Go through my holes. Try to hold it down because artists need like 6 million fingers. Get it in there thick where you want it to be. Now, if it's too thick for you, now I have mine open. I have the light on. It's drying out a little bit. I should have covered it as I was making the other one. I didn't. Oh, well. You'll get the idea. You will do better than I and make sure yours is. Now, I can even probably squirt this with a little water to just wet it a little bit more because, like I said, it's dried out because I have it left open. And you just put it in your stencil. It's hard for you to see because my hand's holding it down. Put it in your stencil, just like you would your molding paste. You can also make paper from this if you want, little sheets of paper. I like using it. I use it for a lot of things. Yeah, it kind of dried out a little bit for me. I'd have to add more water and stir it up again. But you will see. And then you get these great, oh, I stuck my finger in the paint. I'm horrible with this stuff. You get these great circles from your stencil. And you can play, like I said, I have, I should have wet it more. But I wasn't prepared to do a thing. So let's do this. So let's smear it out. Let me wipe this off so it doesn't get all gunked up. So I wasn't planning on making the molding paste. I just wanted to show you the thing. But then I thought, well, since I'm here, I might as well. So we can take more of our Fiberpaste, put it down here in the middle, squirt with your water because you want it to be wet. I'm going to squirt mine on top over here where my container is so it keeps it moist in there. And I'm just going to kind of push it around. You can use your hands. Mix some of that water in there. Oh, I got a piece of dog hair in mine. I'm so lucky. Okay, I'm just kind of mixing it on here so it. Okay. I'm going to even add a little bit more glue to that one. Now just take a stamp of whatever you have and push in it. And then pull it up. And you see how it gives you, my light is funky today for some reason. Because it's white. That's why. I just push. And you'll push and you'll get all this great texture in your Fiberpaste. wipe off. Let's see if I can hold up and see. Can you see the great texture in there? And it's fairly thin. It is, like I said, I did put water in there. I'm going to have to put more water in here because it is drying out under my light. But I'll just dab about around there. And you can just go and I love it. But what I'm going to do is, I better move this out of the way. Everything's going to dry out as I make it, but that's okay because you get the idea. What I'm going to do is, let's dry some of our stuff so you can see. This is already drying. Now remember, in this Fiberpaste, experiment with it because, like I said, I need a little bit more wetness in mine, a little bit more glue probably, because I didn't put the full amount of the white paint in there, remember? So it's much more, you know, it's much more, let's see if we can get a better thing on there now. It's not as wet because I didn't put as much paint as I should have. So you make sure, you know, you experiment. I'm going to leave that one dry. I'll wipe this off. Love the molding paste. This I need more. I think I might pour some more glue in there. And then a little bit more water. I gotta bring my blender up, or potato masher or something is what I need. Just a little bit more water. Because you want it to be kind of thin. So I'm just gonna mix this a little bit more. Yeah, a little bit, I mean wet rather. And you'll see, I'll show you the difference once I get this stirred up. Because you really want to stir it real good. But you can see, like, just adding that little bit, it's like, you want it to look like tuna fish with mayonnaise in a sense. Like, you want it to be pasty. So you want it to be wetter than dry, if that makes sense. I'm even going to add a little bit more water because it isn't going to hurt anything. I'm just going to kill that bottle. It isn't going to hurt anything because it's just going to take a little bit longer to dry, which I don't care. I want it to be a thinner consistency than what I have going on there. Now, if I'm not happy with this because it's, you see it didn't dry yet, I'm just going to pick it up and throw it in here and stir it around and let it absorb some of that water. And that's the best thing to do, is leave it absorb for like 10-15 minutes with a little of the extra water because it will break down that. And then I'll just go and wipe. So nothing's ever a failure. Like if you try it and you're like, you know what, I want it a little bit thicker, do it like this. And when you could see it like picks up on certain parts, and some of the parts even dried, and it's great. It's not, you're not hurting anything. You're not ruining your picture. This is still wet. Throw it in there. Give it a little wipe. There are no mistakes. Like I said, stir, 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 stir. Because you want those fibers to break down. And the only way to do that really is to keep stirring, keep stirring, keep stirring, keep stirring. And they'll break down much better for you. I'm already running really long on the video for you guys, and I don't have the strength right now to keep stirring. I gotta get a hand mixer or something cheap from the thrift store to use in my room. Or my blender. But you see how you want it to be pasty like that. You want it to be wet. So let me grab, we'll try one more time on just a flour right here. And see, I probably should leave this go and do it in another video so it has more time to set, but not me, because just not how I am. And I'm just gonna, see, because it has to absorb all that water yet. Yeah. Trust me, leave it, it'll work. You just have to leave it absorb. It's being a real pain in the balls. So, we'll leave this to, I will do it in another video once it absorbs more. You know, you gotta just let it absorb. What are you gonna do? Such is life. But you got molding paste. I hate when things have to sit and wait. That's why I'm like one of them crafters, like I need instant gratification. Like I don't want to sit and wait for it to absorb all the water that it's supposed to. I want to have fun now. Why not now? All right, we'll just wipe that off again. No big deal. So let's see our molding paste. Let's put some paint over it. I think maybe I'll do, let me try. I might even add a little bit more powder to that. Like I said, it's by eye. It's like what you're digging on. But I'm gonna just put a little bit of paint there. Take my little paintbrush, put some paint on it. Yeah, I'm gonna add a little bit more powder to that too. Not all the way dry either, so that doesn't help because I have no patience. But I hope you can see it because it looks good. But I shouldn't have done orange on orange. What was that thought, Kel? I don't know. So you just kind of want to. This will be a better one. Yeah, that one's a better one. Much better. Yeah, I like that one. I don't know if you can see the dimension. Can you see the dimension? It's great. I don't know what the hell that little piece of thing was, but yeah. I wish you guys could really see. Oh, maybe that's a better view. Can you see the dimension on it? How awesome? It is awesome. Oh, I have this one yet to do. I'm going to do it in orange, even though orange is over it. But I'm going to do a light brush of it. I'll just clean up the rest of that orange and just run my brush over these very lightly. Very cool effect. Just dry brush that one, and then dry brush these ones that like, I'm very happy. I'm not going to complain. I am, however, going to add a little bit more ouch, my finger. I am going to add a little bit more powder in this because I want it a little bit thicker. Just a nice big squeeze. I lost my stir. Okay. I'll stir it again. Woo, don't breathe that in. It's like a dirty baby bum. Now that might have been a little too much I put in. No big deal. Just add a little bit more glue. That's awesome. I love doing this shit. I'm so sick. I love playing, experimenting, and teaching. So just add a little bit more because I went a little crazy on the powder. Maybe don't squirt it as much as I did. No big deal. I need a better bowl. I think that's the problem. Because it's hard to get in them corners. Oh, that's a nice one. Because you don't want lumps either, so remember that. So when you're stirring, let's say we do this. Oh, Kelly. And then I'll come back and either do a picture on Instagram or on my next thing. I'm so excited. Wait a minute. Where's my... Let's do like this. And then take some of this. Make sure it's stirred. Take some of this. I mean, look how thick this is. Yeah. Hold this down. Stick this down. Just run it over. I'm not going to worry too much about it. I'll clean it off. Oh, something moved. I thought I had a cat in here. I was like, I thought I got all the cats out. I don't want them walking in this. You can see it on my mat how good it came out. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Okay, just wait. Look, you can see where I did it. Scrape that up. We got a lot of cleaning up to do and storing to do. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a scrape. Scrape in there. Leave that there. Oh, look. Wipe this off. See how fast it dries? Awesome. Next time I use this, I might be using it the same way you see it now, but I'm just going to set that over there for now. And I'm going to spray this so I can wipe all this up. Stay away from my card, which I just did because I'm very excited about it. See how easy it cleans up? Because it's all water-soluble products. Okay. So again, when you make it, try it out a little bit on a little piece of paper. If it's too thin, make it thinner. If it's too thin, make it thicker. If it's too thick, make it thinner. It doesn't matter. Just like you saw me do right now. And like I said, I got this great like flower on my thing. I got that really cool looking one there. That one I painted the same color, which I have no idea why I did. But it got dimension on it. And that's the fun part. You know, and make sure that if you make the paste, you keep kind of spraying some water on it because the toilet paper or the paper towel, whatever you use, is going to continue to absorb that. You want that. You want those to be like so absorbed and broken apart that they spread better. So that'll be a better thing that we do once that it sits and absorbs. Now look how cool this is. I shall bring you down. Whoops, what did I do? Trying to get it so you guys aren't getting like all the glare, but you get. Let's dry this for a second. I'm not going to dry it all the way. I'm going to let it air dry. And then my next video will paint it. But I just started an ATC card. Look how awesome. Look at the dimension you get from the molding paste. Can you see it? Look at that. It's awesome. Now remember, when you're making these, if you want your molding paste to be another color, take some out, mix your little bit of paint in it, or your fiber paste, and mix it with the paint, and then go ahead and do your modeling paste things. I want to know why this is like acting. He had it like the perfect way for me, and then of course, you know me, I go and change it. Plus I think because it's white on white, it really stinks. Because it has like a glare, you know what I mean? That don't do shit either. But you see the greatness of the molding paste. Look at it. Looks like little pumpkin seeds on there, but they're leaves. So once it's dry, I'm just going to leave it dry regular, then we'll play. But there you go. So I figured I'd do it, like I said, I'd do both of them on here for you guys. Just make sure you store them tightly. The fiber paste, you want to make it maybe the night before and then cover it real good. Make sure you have a lot of extra water in there so the next day when you wake up, it has time to soak in all the fiber. You know, the fibers have the time to soak in. I'm excited and thrilled. I hope this helped you guys who wrote me and wanted to see a demo on it. I thought it'd be easier than sending you to. I'll still put the link in for where we made other things. Just be warned of the cursing, and I'm quite thrilled, quite excited. I hope you guys try this and make it, and let me know and give me a thumbs up if you liked the video, and if there's anything else that you want me to make. And I hope you guys have a blast making it. And somebody's sending me something. Okay, you know, just have a blast with it. Have fun. Like I said, you saw me do it, and like I said, it was too thin for me. I added a little bit more powder. It got a little bit too thicker. I added a little bit more glue. It's scientific fun. That's what art is having fun. And now you just store it in an old jar, old spaghetti jar, old jar that you got. Go to the dollar store, buy a 3-pack of their mason jars, store it, and you got your own thing in a plastic container with a lid, whatever you have. And now you have your own molding paste and fiber paste. How much fun! So I think I'm actually going to add a little bit more glue in my fiber paste too. A little bit more glue and a little bit more water. And then just leave it sit overnight. Cover it and leave it sit overnight. So be kind to each other. You never know what battle somebody's fighting. I hope this helps you guys out. And for all the people who emailed me, I hope this helps you out making it, seeing it be made. And I will still link, like I said, below. And I hope you all have a great day. Bye.